Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Planet Football Deep Dive. Today's topic, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs finished the 2025 season with a 6-11 record. They placed third in the AFC West, missed the playoffs, and suffered their first losing season of the Patrick Mahomes era. The running game struggled throughout the season, but the defense was elite, especially in the secondary. Chiefs were unable, however, to overcome offensive inconsistency. So, what went wrong? What could have helped and what didn't? They did have a few major injuries. However, a lot of them came later in the season. The team was already struggling before that. Isaiah Pacheco, Wanya Morris, Trent McDuffie, Patrick Mahomes all suffered season-ending injuries. Isaiah Pacheco being injured in week 8. That's a pretty big one, especially considering their running game inconsistency. Wanya Morris, offensive tackle, Trent McDuffie at corner, and Patrick Mahomes were injured later, with Morris and McDuffie both injured in week 14 and Patrick Mahomes in week 15. As far as offensive production was concerned, the Chiefs did see success in the passing game. They had a top 10 passing offense. However, a lot of that comes from an increase in passing because of a weakness in the running game. As a result, there were more turnovers than they would have liked, and the team wasn't able to score as many points as I'm sure they needed, clearly, because they lost more games than they won. They still fielded a top 10 defense with a great passing attack sometimes, and if they were able to find more success running the football, the season could have looked very different for them. So, what about the offseason? They did make some good free agent signings, and they're attempting to fix some of the holes that they've left. They're able to address the weakness in the running game. Kenneth Walker is a huge addition at running back. Especially after the departure of Pacheco. In my opinion, Walker is a big improvement at the position. They also added Amari DeMarcado for depth, as well as a draft pick running choice, Emmett Johnson. They heavily invested in their secondary, especially after the departure of Trent McDuffie, and we'll get into that trade a little bit later. Alohi Gilman at safety, Kader Kohu, cornerback, and Khair Lam at corner as well. They re-signed Travis Kelce, and Kelce, despite performing below his usual standards last season, I think the Chiefs are letting him ride out the end of his career, and this might be his last dance. I mentioned the trade earlier with Trent McDuffie. I think it was a big trade for the Chiefs. They got a first-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a sixth-rounder, and a 2027 third round. Significant draft capital. And they did not hesitate to fill the gap that McDuffie left on that defense. They used their draft class to reinforce the defense. Key selections, Mansour Delane, cornerback in the first round, 6th overall pick. Peter Woods at defensive tackle, Mason Thomas at DE, and Jadon Kennedy at safety. I mentioned earlier that they're trying to reinforce their running game, and they did make some offensive additions. Emmett Johnson, the running back, and Cyrus Allen, the wide receiver. Cyrus Allen, at wide receiver, drafted in the 5th round. I'm not sure that's enough to fix a lot of the holes that the Chiefs are suffering in that receiver room. They had a lot of drop passes last year, and they don't really have a number one guy for Patrick Mahomes to throw to, especially with Travis Kelce aging. They need to focus more on that position, I think, if they want to see more success offensively. Now, making the additions to the running game will probably increase their production, as it'll give opportunities for Mahomes to maybe act with a little less pressure. They'll be able to move the ball in more unpredictable ways, and it could really help support them for more victories going to this next season. Defense was top 10 last year. The organization spent a lot of the off season adding a young defensive talent and reinforcing the secondary. I think the defense will be good. I think it'll continue to be good. I expect the offense to be a little better than it was because of that addition to the running game, especially in today's game where the rushing attack seems to becoming more important, like it used to be in years past. We're moving away from a more happy league into a more balanced league where your running game, I think, is really important. Hopefully, it'll create a more balanced offense for them, which can improve overall offensive production, reduce pressure on Mahomes, lower turnover numbers, and create more favorable situations in the passing game. If the running game improves and Mahomes remains healthy, the offense should take a step forward. I expect the defense to be good, probably continue to be excellent, if I'm being honest, especially with the depth that they've added to their defensive positions and the pieces that they already have involved, both veterans and younger players alike. That offense is the real question. If they're able to move the ball while maintaining great defensive pressure on the other side, they'll see a lot of success this year. If they're not, it might be another disappointing season for the Kansas City Chiefs. I expect it'll be better than their previous season, but I'm not sure they'll be able to see the same explosive growth that a lot of the fans are hoping for and expecting in a great return until they address the wide receiver position with a little more scrutiny. In conclusion, I think the Chiefs can make a serious step forward next season. Um, they might have a 10-win, 11-win season. Um, I could see them making it to the playoffs, but I'm not sure they'll be able to make a deep run, especially considering the level of competition in the AFC. And even in their own divisions, I think the Chargers have a really good shot at winning that division if they can maintain consistency as well. So, potentially a playoff berth for the Kansas City Chiefs, uh, but I'm not sure that they have a complete enough team to make a deep run as things stand right now. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.